let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. And it reads, "Wherefore laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings, as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow hereby." All right. So I believe that we need to become strategic with newcomers. And we can't feed them meat when they first walk into the church, because we will overwhelm their digestive system, if you like. And it will turn their stomach sour, and it will make them sick. What would happen if we fed a newborn babe meat? It would vomit, it would get sick, it couldn't take it. It can't take it. It could choke. Right? So, think of those things. Think of that spiritually for somebody. Somebody might walk in here 29 years of age, of a full stature of an adult, and yet, spiritually, they're 2 months old. And we give them a big hunk of meat and they start chewing on it, they're going to choke and die spiritually. I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about here, isn't it? We never think that way, but hey, let's go down this path a little bit today. So, I want to suggest that all of us come up with being very strategic. We're going to move into a period of inviting newcomers into the church. I think we all have to be of one mind in how we approach this. Right? Now, back up with me there to verse 1. Because we understand we have to feed them milk. But there's an attitude, there's an approach that's required to do that. It says, "Wherefore laying aside all malice, and all guile, and hypocrisies, and envies, and all evil speakings." We have to put that aside completely and feed them milk. It's a funny thing with little babies, that they can't speak the language, and yet when they're with their mother, when they're with their father, if something's wrong, they seem to pick up on it, don't they? You ever notice that? And the temperament of the child can be formed at a very, very young age. A child could become very jittery, just because the parents are at each other all the time. Even though they couldn't understand what the parents might say in an argument, they still know something's not right. I think it's the same for a newcomer too. If they were to come in here and we had malice in the church, they may not understand it, but they wouldn't feel right about it. If they saw hypocrisy, in other words, where we said one thing about how we should act, and then behind someone's back said another thing, then they saw both of those things happen, they would feel something's not right here. And many times these things can be taken out of context and it may not be meant the way somebody reads it. So we have to be, just like with children, very aware of who's around us and how we say things and what kind of things we say and how we behave. Because even if we don't mean anything the wrong way, it could be picked up the wrong way and we could cause some form of damage. So I want to put forward this concept that we really have to be on our toes. If we're going to be parenting newborns into the kingdom, Paul said, "I have begotten thee." Paul's saying that he brought people forth into the gospel. He parented many into the gospel. Well, that's exactly what we are talking about doing here collectively, is bringing forth newcomers into the kingdom. And so, we need to approach this like parents. No matter what age we are here, brothers and sisters and parents, let's say, even the children, need to think about how we behave. And children, newcomers are going to look at how the children behave too. And if they saw the children really mean to each other, what would they think? If they were being mean, they would probably think, boy, wonder why the children are so mean. Maybe they learned that from the parents. Maybe the parents really are mean. In any event, our outward appearance is critical. The way we behave, the way we conduct ourselves can have a lot to do with whether newcomers will come back a second time. And to get them to come here first is not our goal. That's only the first step. But we want people to come back and back again and again. And I would go a step further and say that they won't always be in agreement. And in fact, they can't be in agreement at the beginning because they just don't know well enough. Since they're only at milk level, on things to do with meat, they can't be in agreement with us. If we wanted to have a debate of whether we should have roast beef or chicken, that's really at our level. But somebody drinking milk shouldn't be engaged in whether we have roast beef or chicken. That should be for me to talk about, over lunch. Or fish. But amongst newcomers, these things should be left aside. And we should probably look at directing ourselves and our programs. The structure would remain the same, but the content should be driven for things that are going to interest them. And you know what? We're always interested in these things ourselves anyways. We're always interested in newborn babes. So we'll find with newborn babes, they'll say things that are not appropriate. When children first learn to talk, they don't always say the right words. And we've had cases where people have come here and over and over again they've said things that we don't agree with. And that's happened to us on many occasions with I can think of more than one person that it's occurred with. And it's happened where it's been a problem because they've wanted to draw people away. And of course we're on guard for that all the time. And we have to recognize that individually and collectively, we're all very jealous and in love with our God. And that's a good kind of jealousy. It's okay to be very passionate, very protective of this gospel and our God. But somehow we have to be very discerning and figure out how we work that with drawing people into the kingdom.